Yo, what's up, Pascal here, and today we're having a look at the new MOZA MOIN camera. Yes, it says Pocket here on the package because it's a pre-production model that Mozas sent to me and they had to change the name afterwards for obvious reasons. And I'm not obligated to do a review here, and I'm also not paid to do so, just to be transparent. But I find this product very interesting because when you compare it to the Osmo Pocket, it offers this big flip screen there, and that's great because it replaces the need of attaching your smartphone. So I would say let's do a quick unboxing here and then have a look what it can do. Okay, it's actually pretty exciting for me because it's lying around here for a weekend already and I haven't touched it, so let's see. I actually like the packaging here, as you can see. That's really nicely made. Don't really need it, but it's nice. Good unboxing experience. So let's unbox that here. Seems like a bit more complicated than usual. I usually don't do unboxings here on my channel, but because that video will be released on the launch of this product, I think it makes sense to do so. And as you can see, I don't have an overhead rig here, so it's not ideal how I show that to you, but I hope you're happy with this unboxing. Just let me know in the comments below how you like it. And yeah, that already looks pretty nice here, as you can see. That's the box that it comes into, and that's a nice protection case. So let's open that. And here is the MOZA MOIN camera. So how does it work with a flip screen here? So we can flip that out easily and then turn it. And let's turn it on directly. Hope it has battery. I'm not sure about that. Where can I turn it on? Yeah, now it turns on. I actually don't know too much about this camera, but it seems like it's a pretty wide angle. Can you see that? If you can see myself, is it good for vlogging? We will find out later. Is there anything else in the box? We have this part here where, yeah, it comes with some cables, like the usual USB-C cable. That's great. Love when they put USB-C because we don't want to use old USB. So that part here, that could also be USB-C. We don't need USB anymore, USB type A. And it comes with a little quick start guide here. I will probably read that actually because I don't know what functionalities it has and where, so that's good to have. So I definitely like the packaging. That here looks great and nicely made. And also here this case that looks pretty quality, and it definitely protects the gimbal, which is important. But it's a bit bigger than the Osmo Pocket. So, I mean, you can fit it in your pocket definitely, but it's not as small, so you'll probably rather keep that in your bag, just to mention that here already. But even more important for me to know is how it performs, so how's the quality of the footage and what can I do with it. So I would say let's go out and have some test shots. So let's also do a quick vlog here on the MOIN camera from Moza. I can't see any like microphone adapter or something like that, so that's not included unfortunately. So that's the internal microphone here. So how does it sound for you? Can you listen to it, or that doesn't really sound that good? Let me know in the comments below. And aside from that, it tracks my face, but the camera seems like it doesn't react so much. But it's a pre-production model and I can feel that, like this camera doesn't feel finished right now. There's like a lot of stuff that I will have to talk about by the end of this video that I think definitely has to improve, but I think it will when the final product comes out. And just the Wat Umang temple here in Chiang Mai. Really beautiful place. I like going here for shooting videos. There's no flat color profile or lock or something like that right now, and that's definitely a downside. Like I can see on the display already how contrasty the picture is, so it will probably not come out as good, even if the colors overall are not bad. Like I saw when I did some tests inside that my skin tones look pretty good at least. So far I like the idea of this product. It's definitely nice to have this big screen, you can see everything a bit better, etc. But they can also implement more functions there. Like for example, One recommendation that I have here that could be added via firmware is to make it like the exposure lock functionality from GoPro cameras, that you can like tap on the screen for a pretty longer time, like 2 seconds or so, and then it locks the exposure on a specific subject. Because right now, to like have a locked exposure, you still have to go into the menu and change to manual, and that takes quite a lot of time. And when you do run and gun shooting like I do, it's definitely better if you could just tap somewhere for like 1 or 2 seconds and the exposure gets locked. That's like the quickest way to expose, in my opinion. And yeah, so now we've also seen how the camera performs when you have different light, like when the light shines from different angles on the subject. I have, I think, negative 0.3 exposure value compensation right now. And I can, right now I can tell my face is definitely exposed. So maybe an algorithm that would detect faces and then expose more for the face would also be good, because I think that is a vlogging camera. Like, you have a field of view of 120 degrees and you have this big screen, so it's actually pretty good for beauty vloggers, so they can see themselves a bit better, etc. That's what I think this camera could be for. But right now it would be good if the camera knows that there's a face and then expose for the face. So right now I was overexposed. So that's a little low light test. Yeah, I've set the maximum ISO to 800. So I don't want to have the picture too grainy, and it should already be pretty grainy here with this ISO. With the lower ISOs I get all these color artifacts. I would definitely prefer grain over color artifacts. So that's better here. Feeling like Tomb Raider Lara Croft here now. Exploring some hidden places. Dumong is a really nice temple. Especially because of that. I don't know what that is here, but it's cool. Yeah, I always bring my own sweetener, try to avoid sugar wherever I can, and with stevia that gets a lot better. And this stuff here actually tastes like original sugar. You don't get the stevia aftertaste that no one likes, especially in the coffee. So I'm going through the footage here from the Moin Camera right now, and I think this is a good time to give a conclusion, because I basically got all the shots that I need to judge this camera, at least as far as I can for now, because this is a pre-production model and it definitely does not feel like a finished product. Like, there are definitely firmware improvements that can be done, and I think they will also do a bit more with this product, because it really doesn't feel finished at all. Just to mention that at the beginning, because there are a lot of negative points that I will mention. But let's first start with what I like. I did some notes here. Like, at first, obviously the big screen. I think it has a lot of potential because it makes tapping the screen a lot easier. So focusing on the right subject, focus tracking, etc. should work better. Then the next thing that I was positively surprised was actually the stabilization. I mean, of course it's a gimbal, so it's supposed to have good stabilization, but it felt a little bit better than with other gimbals. Like, it's subjective now. I did not like compare it directly with other gimbals, but it felt pretty good. Maybe they do some sort of electronic image stabilization or so inside as well. I'm not sure about that, but especially when I just walked normally, like in my vlogs for example, then it looked pretty steady. And then also at ISO 800, when I shot inside this temple, it actually looked much better than I expected. Of course, you could see a lot of noise there, but it was not too bad. Like, I could perfectly post that on YouTube. And that's actually pretty weird, because when we talk about what I don't like about the Moin camera, then at first the noise performance. Like, when I was outside, I filmed an ISO 100, and especially around sunrise time, where already was enough light out there, I had a lot of noise in the shadow going on and so on. That should definitely not be. Of course, I don't expect a perfect image from a small smartphone sensor like that. Other cameras, except from GoPro, usually also have their problems there. But I must also say that this is Mozas' first camera. Like, they are specialized in gimbals, and as far as I know, they never released a gimbal camera, a camera in general. So this is completely new for them, and I think they also have to find out at first how to do all of that stuff and how to read the sensor properly. I'm not exactly sure what they exactly do, what parts of the technical sides and what they get from third-party manufacturers, but I think when they publish their first camera, of course you cannot expect that the image quality will be perfect. But also overall, it's like the overall the smartphone look, where it looks a bit like low bitrate and everything is a bit over sharpened. So I'm not really a fan of that. But again, it can also be improved via firmware upgrade, and especially when they launch the product, let's hope that that gets better. My next point here is that there's no flat picture profile for now, at least. There is an option in there which is called, I think, MOZA color or something like that, but I could not use this feature. Like, I tapped on it in the menu, but it was not possible for me to use it. See that? Yeah, it says MOZA color here. Maybe you can see that. It's mentioned MOZA color. So but I couldn't use this feature. So probably when they release that product, I'm sure that you can use it, but I'm not sure what it does. Maybe it enhances the image, like a bit more saturation, etc. But what I really want to have is a flat picture profile here, because the overall image also looked a bit too contrasty for me, at least on the screen. It is a bit better here on my MacBook, but still, like, having a flat picture profile would be good. But please, MOZA, no lock. I know that Insta360, for example, in the 1R camera, they released a lock profile, and lock profiles on cameras with such small sensors and then also 8-bit does not work. Just don't do that. Use a flat color profile, but not lock. Like, flat in terms of, for example, what GoPro does. They did it really well there. Then no object tracking so far. I'm also sure that they will release object tracking over time, because, well, pretty much every camera that is somehow like that has object tracking, so I would wonder if they won't. And I think actually that object tracking should be really nice, because on that screen you can tap really accurately on the subject that you want to focus on. So if they release object tracking, that's definitely great on this camera, I expect at least. But for now, I don't have any object tracking here. I can't test it, so I can't say anything about it. And my next point here is that it tracked my face when I vlogged, but it did not focus on my face. So it actually makes it completely obsolete to track my face if it doesn't focus on it. So that's probably also something that they will improve via firmware. But generally, I think that with sensors that small, smartphone-like sensors, you don't need any focusing. It is totally fine to have an infinity focus lens there and you just do your shots. I just want to use it in a way that I'm 100% sure it works. And when I see that now, like I see on this screen here that it tracks my face, but then I see on the computer later that my face is actually not perfectly in focus, yeah, that sucks. So it's definitely better not to have focus there, to have infinity focus, but therefore I can always be sure that my face is in focus. Just my thought about cameras like that. So that's my conclusion here. I overall think that it's a good step in the right direction to bring something new on the market. It reminds me a little bit on old camcorders, but in a lot smaller form factor. Like, you know, old camcorders, you also had screens that were pretty similar, also by the size. Also regarding the pricing, I don't know what it will cost when it's released, so we will have to see about that. But I think if they improve the problems that I saw with it, then I see it somewhere in the $200 areas, maybe $220, something like that, because it's definitely that the Osmo Pocket 2 just gives you so many more features, and that is like the product that it mostly competes with. So I think that if it's priced below the Osmo Pocket 2, like far below, in the $200 area, then I can recommend it. Otherwise, if they would price it more in the $300 area, then I would probably think twice about buying it. And that's my conclusion here. I hope you enjoyed this preview. I wouldn't call it a review really, because it's a pre-production model. But yeah, if you liked it, then please leave me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell notifications button for upcoming videos. See you in the future. Love cappuccino.